How often do you oh, how often do you use your mobile phone?
I am pretty addicted to my mobile phone, so I use it every day, not just for work, but also for entertainment. I use my phone to browse some apps, and I also check my emails. I think the phone is absolutely indispensable nowadays. You will live under a rock without a phone.
You would be living under a rock. Not you will live under a rock.
Oh, you would be living because it's a hypothetical.
Yeah.
To,
Also just it's funny. It's like it's inevitable that you're gonna live under a rock if you don't have a phone, is how you said it.
okay.
Um, say indispensable again.
Indispensable.
There's good. Okay, good. Do you think technology has made life easier?
Yes, technology has made complex tasks very simple.
Tasks.
Yeah, I said that. I said tasks.
Yeah, you're saying tasks now. Tasks.
Tasks.
Sorry, I think you're saying it, but you're not. It's tasks.
Tasks.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Otherwise, avoid the word
Technology has enabled complex activities to be very simple, uh,
enabled. Mhm.
enabled. For example, in the past, we calculated equations and processed data very slowly, but nowadays we can do it in the blink of an eye.
I'm just giving you other words. I think processes would have been better than activities. Um, do you use your mobile phone more than you did in the past?
Mm, yeah, the older I am, the more I use my phone because I use it for work and I use it for leisure. Uh, I'm more occupied nowadays with work. I have to maintain contact with my clients. That's why I use my phone more often than not. In the past, I only used it for entertainment, and sometimes I use it for looking up new words when I learned English. Yeah.
When I learn English, or more so study, when I study English,
Hmm.
because it's a conditional, so you don't put it in the past. It's not hypothetical. The older I get, we don't really say maintain contact. It's I don't know, it's just not a common collocation. It's more like keep in contact. So you get a better score if you keep the collocations. Um, how does technology help you in your everyday life?
Um, Technology has equipped me with tools to solve complex issues. I use them to send emails to my clients, so instant communication. I also use them to sometimes look up new information online because I don't have to, so that I don't have to peruse through piles of resources and books to really extract information.
I may be wrong, we'd have to rewind, but I don't believe you ever said anything that was plural. You kept using them, but as far as I know, you were referencing technology, which isn't it.
Yeah.
So just be careful of that. But I could be wrong. You might have said devices, but I don't remember you saying anything to that regard.
Okay.
Um, otherwise everything's fine. Do you spend more money on gadgets than you did before?
Not really. Some of my electronic devices have been performing at an optimal state for a while. They are very long lasting, so I don't need to replace them with something else. I don't feel like I need to buy them quite often because I don't really buy it into trends and fads. I'm not willing to spend that much money on gadgets just because of promotions and advertising.
Perfect. Perfect answer. Good intonation. I think you're hitting your stride. Um, I'm just going to keep going. It will kind of get into task three territory, but It's fine. It's in the same vein. What technological discovery has, oh, I hate this one. Sorry. What technological discovery has changed our lives most dramatically?
I believe it's my MacBook because it's something that I use every day in the past. In the past, I only used one Chromebook, which wasn't very useful. It didn't really contain like a heavy memory disk, so I ran out of storage quite often. My MacBook had more significant amount of storage, which enables me to process tasks and information, very easily.
You missed the point of the question because you changed our, which is all people, humanity, civilization, to me and my.
Okay.
So nothing really applies. So let's do it again. The answer was good if it had been about you. What technological discovery has changed our lives most dramatically?
Mm, I believe this is a cliche answer, but it's definitely the internet. Uh, since the advent of internet, people have been more connected, and have processed information so much easier. Um, we are we have gotten access to new resources and information, which really advance globalization. Ventures and individuals have largely benefited from this technology because we can absorb information and transmit them very fast.
We don't say ventures. You keep using that as a synonym for businesses or corporations. It's not the same. So it's corporations or businesses, not ventures.
But ventures can be used as a business, no?
Not as commonly as you keep using it. Generally, the only way we use it is like a business venture. It's more like an activity or of a business.
Okay.
We'll say things, it's like used more in collocations like venture capital, business venture, risk venture, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you were in like a business meeting and like maybe they're being more technical, but not on this test. You wouldn't want to say have process information so much easier because you're actually describing the processing, right? So you're describing the verb, not the noun. Therefore, it should have been the adverb more easily. It's a small little thing, but otherwise fine. Um, what are the possible negative aspects of technological progress?
Mm. Mm. In the process of in the process of the advancement of technology, we have had more environmental catastrophe. Um, we have released so much carbon emission, and our carbon footprint is so enormous nowadays that it has really taken a toll on the environment. It has really exacerbated climate change.
Exacerbated,
It has really exacerbated climate change and threaten our lives as well as other endangered animals' lives.
as well as endangered. Yeah. Okay. The word is carbon.
Carbon footprint.
Yeah, you kept saying carbon. It's kind of cute. Ooh, it
Carbon.
sounded very French. It was kind of pretty. But carbon emissions. You didn't have the S sound either.
Uh,
Emissions,
so
carbon
many.
footprint. Yeah, I'm not gonna let you. You're doing that thing where you're missing the ends.
Wait,
But
wait.
I mean,
Yeah,
like the S's and the,
yeah. I mean,
sorry,
if carbon, we release many carbon
carbon. You're
emission.
doing the carbon,
Oh.
carbon
We release many carbon emission or much.
emissions.
I know. Okay. We release many carbon emissions.
Yeah.
Many, right? Because it's the S.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Emissions are countable, which I know sounds weird, but it's true.
Yeah,
Um,
carbon.
so I was just trying to think. Otherwise, you could just say release a lot of CO2.
Sure.
If you ever, yeah, I mean, I shouldn't be saying avoid words because it's always good to have a variation, but if you've already said it and you want to change it up, you can say CO2.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to what extent do you think technology has changed the way we live? That's
Mm,
interesting. No, the nuance is to what extent,
mm. Uh,
not just saying some changes. Sorry.
mm. Um, Technology has largely changed our lifestyle. In the past, we were dependent on manual labor to really handle every activities that we were assigned to. Um, we were also uh, we were also, you know, lacking in terms of entertainment options. Nowadays, with technologies, we don't have to do many laborious and manual tasks. We also have more diverse options for entertainment at our fingertips. So yeah,
Out of favor. Good. It's laborious.
laborious.
I know it's like labor, but when you change it, we use the controlled R, labor, because it's in the middle of it, of the syllables. So if the OR ends up being in the middle, you're gonna have to change the sound to controlled R. Makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. Anytime you have the word every, remember each and every, it always takes singular noun. Your ends of words were great. I noticed it didn't have any problems with those, except that you changed activity to activities, and it should have been activity in that regard. Okay. Is progress always a good thing? What are the possible negative effects of progress?
We've made progresses at the expense of the environment.
Progress.
Oh, we've
It's
made
uncountable.
uncountable. Okay. We've made progress at the expense of the environment, as I had previously mentioned. Uh, some of the advancement are very much um, negative, like are very much harmful to the environment. They have destroyed the environment for example, um, deforestations or extinction of animals, by contamination of the water, or by the emissions of toxic fumes to the environment. So there are so many trades-off when we want to advance our society to a more technological state, to a more automatic state. It's also a concept of repercussions of consumerism. When we have too much consumerism, we also face the challenge of environmental damage because of overconsumption.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's stop there. Um, you had a lot of vocabulary and a lot of it where it was going between uncountable and countable and then compound nouns. So, I mean, you're just going to run into certain things because I know you're feeling, I can tell that you're really trying to put the ends of the words, but it's kind of costing you a bit as well. And I know, how do we find the middle ground? But anytime you do sum of, it's always plural. So remember, each and every is singular, but when you say sum of, it has to be plural. So it should have been some of the advancements. An advancement is countable versus deforestation is uncountable. So you said deforestations and it's deforestation. Um, the other thing had nothing to do with countable, uncountable. It's just the emission of it's a movement. Therefore, it has to be into the environment. And
Mhm.
then you said the word trades off, and that's not where the S goes if you're making it plural. It's trade-offs.
There's so many trade-offs. Okay.
Yeah. Just two more. So why do you think people spend so much time with their mobile phones nowadays?
Mm. It's because we are very obsessed with using our phones because there are so many temptations online, from social media to promotions. Notification bells also distract us from real life. They keep us hooked. So then that's why we keep using them. We keep clicking on links and notifications to really catch up. We feel like we will be missing out if we didn't really keep up with the online world. That's why we are so addicted to mobile phones, and it's a serious issue that we must tackle.
Good.
Yeah,
Temptations, right? So it should be there are so many temptations.
yeah.
And we don't really say, as far as I know, not many people say notification bells. I've always heard it's notification chimes, the chime of the notification. Um, you started it, I think it was more because you were trying to find where you wanted to go with it. Because you went from because of to because, and it was like you could have avoided that whole because of. Like you said, we were because of like someone to be about obsessed, and that's pretty much what the question is, right? So after the
It
second
is.
because would have been your answer. You didn't need the first because of, and it was like in the same sentence, so that's why I wrote it.
Mhm.
Um, but
I didn't
again, I think that was
said.
sorry,
I didn't
huh?
understand what you said.
Oh, in one sentence you use because of and because. And the first clause, because of, like you were saying, people are on their phones because of their obsession. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what it is. You didn't need it. And then you went because there are so many temptations. And that was the core. So, first off, I was trying to say, don't have two becauses in one sentence. And second, if you were cutting it, cut that first because of. Because there are so many temptations was your answer, not because people are obsessed,
Okay.
right? Because that's already in the question. Um, what changes in our lives can we expect to happen? Oh, this is good because it's about the future. I'm sorry. What changes in our lives can we expect to happen because of technology in the future?
Mm. Um, in the future, there would be a huge loss of jobs that can be replaced by AI. So many people would be driven out of work because their skills are no longer in demand. Mm, on the contrary, there would be more jobs that are involved with AI. Also, a large amount of kids who were born in 2010 and after that would be kind of addicted to iPads and electrical devices. We call them iPad kids because they're too obsessed with using their devices that their social skills may be very hampered.
It's true, and they have such short attention spans. I teach some of these kids, and it's maddening.
I know they be screaming because they have no iPad.
God. Or, they're so used to using the iPad that the minute they take class, you can just see them doing other stuff. And they're like, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, just stop. And they're like, they just really think that's natural, though. It's not even them ignoring me. It's that they think doing multiple things at the same time is normal. You know what I mean? Sorry,
yeah, I know.
take up your time.
Their academic performance is less and less stellar nowadays. Like some of the
Yeah,
kids in grade 9 or 10 still have the performance of a sixth graders, you know?
I didn't know that. It
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me though, but it does scare me because this is our future. I know, I'm sure if we look back on ourselves, well, maybe not you, you're pretty driven. If I look back at myself in like ninth or 10th grade, people might have said the same thing about me. So I'm glad, who knows? I'm glad I grew out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you part two,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna put on the timer, and just let you prepare.
Okay. Describe a piece of good news that you heard about someone you know well. Okay. Wait, is news countable? Like, how can we use it in a sentence?
Is
News
what? Sorry.
is singular, right?
I didn't hear the word you said.
Is how can we use news in a
Oh,
sentence?
news. Sorry. Yeah, news is
A
singular. It's weird. I'm just thinking. Have you heard the news is? Yeah, it's singular. It's this
The
weird thing.
news,
You can't.
okay. So you say the news is sad, right?
Yeah, if you really feel that like if you need to make it countable, just say the news stories or the news articles. But otherwise, yeah, it's singular.
The news is sad. The news was happy. Okay.
Um, if you need a moment to gather again, but
I need
take
sugar.
it, but otherwise start talking when you're ready.
Mm, mm. Okay. Mm, okay. I heard a happy piece of news when my uncle was declared cancer free. I had an uncle who was diagnosed with stage 1 skin cancer. He was always very active outside and he never wore sunscreen. If he had known better, he would have, but he just felt like it was a girl's thing. He had developed cancer before he knew it, and it was slow but progressing really fast. Fortunately, his wife had discovered a lesion on her skin, which looks very suspicious, and urged him to visit the doctor. After some treatment, he was declared cancer-free, and our family was overjoyed because he was our beloved uncle. He is very close to me. We always talk about different societal topics. Um, I just felt this overwhelming sense of happiness because I had thought that I I would lose him because cancel is such a death sentence for many people when they hear the word. But thankfully, he didn't meet his demise because he was detected at an early stage. Yeah.
Mhm. Sorry. No, I just keeping up. You honestly didn't do much or didn't make many big mistakes. Um, s- some of these is my uh, are my bad typing, but others are your. I try to write things how you pronounce it. The first time you said it, it sounded more like cancel than cancer. But then every time after it was cancer, very obviously cancer. It was just that first time the L sound was just it was a little bit too like that. But it was like I said, the once. Everything was fine, fine. I noticed your third conditional. I like it felt like it was a girls thing, as just that was very conversational. It was one of the yeah. You moved it along really well, like talking about it slow, progressing fast. You weren't repetitive, which is good. Um, but you said a lesion which I know it wasn't with, but you did say looks rather than looked. That was the one mistake, really, which looked. Okay. Um, I some people say beloved and some people say beloved. So just be aware of that. I don't know if that's a thing for like I think beloved is an appropriate um pronunciation, but if you're worried about them saying anything, then say beloved because it's the more common. Um, cancer is it sounded very much like you said dead sentence. I'm not saying that's what you meant to say, but it sounded like dead sentence. The
Yeah,
TH should have been, oh, it's death, death sentence.
okay.
Mhm. But otherwise, yeah, everything was good. I was just keeping up with what you said, just to pay, just to peruse if you were moving it along and not being repetitive, and you were. It was good. Didn't sound rehearsed as well, because I know, you got that feedback, and this one didn't sound rehearsed at all. It sounded very natural. In case you want to go back and, and check how you sounded. Okay. I have some part three questions associated with the topic. Would you like to do them, or do you want to stick with part two?
Yeah, part three is fine, and then we can move back.
Okay. And then do another part two. Okay. So this is it good to share something on social media?
Mm. Not everything should be uploaded to social media because we have this digital footprint, which is very hard to remove from online pages and websites. What we upload online will remain there for an indefinite amount of time, even though we try to remove them. I know many people have uploaded very explicit content online and they later regret it they because the content has been spreaded around and it's very impossible to delete them from existence. Other than that, I feel like some content is appropriate because they help you to build a brand, which is good for your business. They help you to share some positive messages to the world. In those cases, I wholeheartedly believe that it is appropriate and even encouraging to post the content online.
Okay, good. Um, if when it comes to like like the content of your answer, for the first like portion of it, you didn't really answer the question, though you were giving really good answer, but you didn't actually say what your view was until the end. Because so I would have immediately just said, I think some things are good and some things aren't, just immediately. But you did end up saying that. It came way later. You kind of went right into the problems with sharing, which again wasn't a bad answer. Just I would have put that at the beginning. There's no such word as spreaded. It's just spread. Okay. Um, and content is singular. So you tried to say these content, but then you switched it to something else. So it wasn't a big thing. But later on, you replace the word content with they, and it's not. It's a singular. It's it. Okay. The only pronunciation issue I heard besides the spreaded was appropriate. It should be appropriate, not eight.
Appropriate,
Yeah,
appropriate. Oh my God.
but that's it. Appropriate, not
Wrong
appropriate. I know.
my whole
Well,
life.
it's because appropriate is a word. It means like the verb to appropriate something. And that's why it's important not to mispronounce it, because when you said appropriate, you actually said the verb form, which would have made the sentence incorrect rather than the adjective appropriate.
Appropriate.
Mhm.
Um,
Do you know the verb appropriate?
I know. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I was gonna teachable moment if you didn't. Should this should the media only publish good news?
Hmm, definitely not. The media should publish both positive and negative news to have a balance. We all know that the world doesn't just revolve around positive news. We should post news with negative repercussions and outcomes to warn the public and policymakers about potential dangers that society may face.
This is good. There was just one statement you said. You said we should post the news with negative repercussions. That's a bit odd. You're trying to say that we should have negative repercussions, like it's good. You said to warn, but I didn't really get it. I think you mean news about negative repercussions. If I might, I don't know. Maybe your sentiment isn't that. It just was a bit odd. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so news about, right?
I think so. Again, that it might change what you wanted to say. I don't know.
News about
Um,
negative outcomes and repercussion.
yeah, I think it's about, yeah. I just wrote good because you immediately answered the question. You made sure to. So yeah. And that was the only other thing. Okay. What kind of, oh, sorry. How does social media help people access information?
Social media has made it a breeze to access information. We have so much information and resources at our fingertips. We can just click on certain links and look up a few keywords. Then we can get access to a myriad of information. Some of the information is very biased. Some of them are straight up
It
misinformation. Some of it are straight up misinformation or disinformation.
is,
Some of them is.
no, some of it is. You said them are, and then you said it are, but it's it is. Some of it is
Okay, but why is it not are? Some of them are. Some of it
because you're
are.
talking because of, well, because it is singular and R is plural.
Some of
And
it.
information is uncountable. The reason you said you're talking about information and you replace information with the pronoun they, but it's not a they, it's an it. So therefore, if it's an it has to be is because information as well as it is singular.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I usually don't interrupt. It's just that's a mistake you've been making consistently. So I wanted to create an
Yeah, it's
awareness.
really hard to change it.
Um, I mean, again, of the points being taken from things, it's such a small flaw that don't make it your total focal point, right? The natural flow correction will give you more, like a higher score than you making a few mistakes with pronoun replacement. What kind of good news do people often share in the community? That'll be our last one.
Uh, in my social circle, people often share about good news about their families. Sometimes they have certain weddings or the births of their offspring. They may post the news online and announce them to the world. Uh, on
Announce it, but okay.
the world
Remember,
news,
news is singular. I know it has an S, I know.
announce it to the world. Okay. Additionally, people can also share world news that they are interested about. For example, there's some uh, fatal incidents which had transpired in our communities. So people post those pieces of news to warn their beloved ones about potential dangers. Yeah,
Loved ones,
yes,
not beloved.
loved ones. What is beloved? I don't even know.
That is a good question. It's not right. It's more like beloved is like um talking about when someone or something is loved by many. They are beloved
Beloved, beloved.
versus your loved ones are loved by you. So they're
Yeah,
your loved ones, not beloved. Make sense?
okay. Gandhi is beloved. Something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Which
This one,
topic?
I was looking through them. This one is hard. So sorry. I'm picking the hardest one I could find. Oh,
Okay.
you said something?
Oh no, I
Oh.
didn't.
Um, yeah, I've never seen this one before, so I found it interesting.
Newly built public facilities. Oh
I'm
my.
sorry.
Okay, I'm just.
Yeah, like museum, library, public bathrooms. Like for instance, okay, the first thing that comes to me is, at the beach, they built like these fountains that will you can use to wash your feet. And it was like everyone is like, "Yeah, we got," they're so excited. So it could be something that simple, is what I'm trying to say,
Mhm. Okay.
if that helps. Take your time if you want to think more, and then just let me know when you're ready, and I'm ready too.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
Okay.
ready?
Um, there is the Vietnamese Woman Museum in my hometown. Uh, it was renovated last year. The upkeep happened because there was a large amount of traffic in the museum. So they had to add another wing to the museum. It was a bit small, but they had permission from the government to expand their area. So before, when I visited the museum, I was really jammed between the sea of people because it was a huge attraction because of the interesting exhibitions. But I definitely felt a bit stuffy inside because I couldn't really move that well. I didn't really see the artifacts in the exhibitions clearly because there were too many people. So the wings had added another uh, had the wings had added another had added more spaces for people to traverse in the museum. Other than that, the museum was also equipped with new lightings. Before it was a bit too dark. People couldn't really see the artifacts in the all the exhibitions quite well. So they complained that. And fortunately, the museum had it listened intently to the advice. And these changes not only added a brand new look, but also facilitated the amount of visitors to the museum. So I felt like it's such a positive development.
Good. No, honestly, it sounded very natural. I was really genuinely concerned you would sound rehearsed or it sound fake, but whether or not it's a true thing, it sounded natural. Is it true?
No,
Well, you did a good job then. You did it. You mastered finally tricking me into not knowing whether or not this is a true story because it didn't sound like you were making it up. Well done. Oh, okay. That's actually a really exciting development. Um, so again, some of this is me, but I was just trying to because it's hard to keep up. But the upkeep happened. It's not really upkeep, right? Because it's renovation. Upkeep is like the natural, like, just maintenance of what is already there. So upkeep is the wrong word. What would you say instead? Because I get that you needed a synonym, but upkeep is not it.
the maintenance of what already there. Huh. So isn't it renovation?
It is. It's renovation. So we need another word for renovation. Like, I mean, the changes, the remodeling, the
Wait,
restoration, the
I don't get it.
refurbishment.
Why is upkeep frowned upon in this
It's not
case?
frowned upon. I said it's the wrong word. Upkeep means maintaining what's already there. Renovation is improving it. It's changing it for some way.
Oh, okay.
Like upkeep is just maintaining, it's not making it better. It's just maintaining the same state.
Yeah, so
Does
like
that make sense?
upkeep
Yeah.
Keep the appearance of the building.
Exactly. It's just what already looks, but so you after you renovate, you continually do upkeep to keep the same state of the new renovation,
Yeah.
right? Upkeep is just something that's constant. You could say the modernization, the refurbishment, the remodeling. I'm just trying to give you other things that could be.
Okay.
There's a large amount of traffic in the museum. Good. So they had to add another. I couldn't tell if you said wing or wings, to be honest. I have no idea. So that's why I put that S because I was like, what did she say?
I said wings.
Okay, because you can't say another with wings. I'm not saying wings is wrong. I'm saying it wouldn't have agreed. Okay.
So
So, just be aware of that.
another is only for singular noun.
Yeah, other is plural. Other wings.
Okay.
Another wing. So it was hard for me because my mind wouldn't make it work because I had the another. They had permission from the government to expand their area. That's fine. Before, when I visited the museum, I was really jammed. That was good. I felt a bit stuffy. That's just me. You didn't do anything wrong there. I couldn't move well. Good. I didn't see the artifacts. So the wings had added more spaces for people. It just, no, that's right. Um, when you use the word traverse, you need an object. Okay.
I had traversed the
So you could, sorry.
I had traversed the park. I had traversed the halls of the museum.
Yeah, exactly. The halls, I was thinking corridors as well, or exhibitions. You just said traverse in the museum. Good. Exhibitions. So giving you ideas. Lightings is not a word. It's uncountable. It's lighting. And then you said they complained that. You have to say they complained about. Wait, I don't know why you say complained. No, maybe, no, maybe I added that because now that's wrong. I don't know. Strike that from the record. If you said that, I don't know why I heard it in a way that made me think it was wrong, but they complained that would be right. But then if you said the fact that, then it would be about. So if you want, you go back and listen, but this is probably my mishearing, not you. At the end, you said facilitated the amount of visitors. You can't facilitate the amount, but you could facilitate the traffic, right?
Mhm.
Like that. But you don't facilitate amounts. That was it. Otherwise, great.
Okay.
Um, but it's still success. I'm still really excited about that because I'm like, oh, it was fake. Huh. Okay. So part three from that question. What are the benefits of public facilities?
Benefits of public facilities. Hmm. Uh, Never thought about this before. Even
That's a great lead in as well. Never
even
thought
though
about this before.
I use them on a daily basis. But
Still
I guess they provide services for the goods of the people for free,
for the good of the people.
for the good of the people for free. There are so many services like this in my city. Free public transportation, free library. Some of the parks and communal spaces are free of charge as well. They provide uh, socialization and benefits for the community, for people who are underprivileged. These people may not be able to afford services that are exorbitant in terms of cost, so they can get access to these free public services.
Yeah, so it's good. I liked your lead in. It was natural. Why are some public transport methods popular, such as the subway
Mm, some of them are better than the other, are more preferred than the other because they are faster.
and others?
Yeah. People people choose the subway mostly because they can reach their destinations in the blink of an eye. As opposed to the bus, which might take hours to reach to the same location. Uh, Other than that, the subway is also quite clean and maintained well in some cities. The buses may not be as clean and well maintained because so many people in my cities, for example, have um, peed on the bus. They really disregard the bus and they don't respect like public spaces at all. So
That's just, people really pee on the bus.
yeah.
That's disgusting. Be careful about doing a compare and contrast because the next question is why are some public transport methods unpopular? And you kind of already answered that, so then you have to like search for a new answer, you know?
Well, I think they would change the question to a new one.
Maybe. So I'll skip to four. What kind of transport do young people and old people prefer?
Uh, I can speak well for young people. For us, we prefer to ride the subway because it is fast, and we can also listen to music and double and multitask on the subway. Um, the bus, on the other hand, is quite shaky because there are many potholes on the street. So we tend to be very distracted when we try to work or study on the bus. I cannot speak for the elderly, but I know that they might prefer the bus because they don't want to walk down and upstairs to and from the subway station. Their joints might not allow them to do so. They might just prefer to walk to the nearest bus station. So yeah.
That's good. Usually we say up and down, but then I was like, but she's right because it's a subway, so you go down and then up. So yeah. Do you think people would feel happier when they are in a park or a coffee shop, and why?
Mm. Well, some people who enjoy the lively atmosphere with others tend to prefer like these communal spaces. They like to immerse themselves in places among the presence of others. They don't have to talk to them. They just have to be near people. On the other hand, some people just love to enjoy their solitude, so they might not prefer to be in parks and coffee shops, which might be too noisy and rowdy.
Rowdy coffee shop. In the presence of others, but otherwise, great.
Hmm.
Not among, sorry. All right, we have 10 minutes. So I thought, why not jump into another part two? So this one, I thought there's a bit of nuance there. Okay. So I thought it would be good to see how you interpret that. Okay. Just start talking when you're ready.
Okay. Mm. I once dined in a restaurant with a family, next to the table of a family of four. Uh, the parents and the children at first were chill and were dining as usual. But then when the food came out, the parents looked kind of disgusted and they signaled the waiter to come over. The father, looking very dismayed, started talk about how cold the food was and how he preferred the portion to be bigger. The mom also had her fair share of complaints. She talked about how there was a strand of hair in her soup. Uh, uh, so the waiter very patiently, you know, grab the dishes and return to the kitchen. Uh, so minutes later, he came back with new dishes. Um, I think the complaints didn't really stop because uh, a few minutes later, the parents had demanded another chair for the daughter because the daughter felt that the chair that she was sitting on was a bit uncomfortable. So the waiter had to bring out another chair with a cushion. Um, if I had known better, I would have picked a table in the corner of the restaurant, far away from this annoying family, because I felt like they had ruined the vibe for me. So yeah,
Good. Was this, you made this story up?
yeah.
Yeah, it's good. No, I mean, I kind of felt you made it up, not because of the flow, but just because it was a lot. But then I was like, honestly, that really could have happened though. There are some people that just over complain. So the tone was still on point. You still are mastering that, not sounding rehearsed, not sounding like you're making it up as you go. So the flow was great. I just was like, it's a lot of complaints, one after the other. It seems very convenient that they had so much for you to share about.
Mhm.
But there's no reason why anyone should fault you for that because you're demonstrating your ability to tell a story. And if anybody says that, then they're being stupid and not and being biased about it. Um, some of the ends were a little off. I kept up, the story was good. There weren't that many mistakes, but it sounded like you said ow instead of out. The T was too soft. It was there. It was just really soft. It was almost like an afterthought. The same here. It's the D mandate. The D was so soft. I almost wondered if you hadn't said it. But I was like, nah, I think she said it. So I made points to put that in my writing so to show you where maybe the sounds, the D and the T sounds here. Also, it almost sounded like you said a comfortable. It sounded like you added a duh at the end for some reason. I
Well,
don't know what it was, so a comfortable. Other than that, I don't really think like grammatically there weren't any mistakes. You hit every single point. You didn't repeat, you didn't reverse your flow, you didn't circle back like you've done in the past. So yeah, good. Very good. All right. So I guess I'll just do a couple of part three associated.
okay.
And yeah. I'm feeling so good about this weekend for you. You can get a massage. You're killing it today. Sorry. Am I being like weirdly optimistic? I just get excited. How do companies train? Oh, this is interesting. How do companies train their staff to deal with complaints?
Uh, their staff are trained to be very graceful with complaints. They have to take it by heart and they don't want to argue with their customers. Customers are like gods, you know? Some of the businesses make it a mantra to say that a mantra that customers are always right. That's why some of the demands, the absurd demands by the customers are always met. Yeah, even though
Good.
the
Oh, sorry.
even though the staff is very dissatisfied and
Staff are
even though the staff are
the
dissatisfied
irregular plural. Mhm.
and are, treated and are very humiliated. Yeah.
Good. Mistreated, right?
Mm.
Um, take it by heart is not an expression.
Take it
Um,
too hard.
But take it to heart means you get offended. So I don't think you meant that either. So
Oh.
I think you meant they have to be empathetic because based on the following state content, I think you meant just to have to be empathetic.
Mhm.
Um, some businesses make it their mantra. Would say you make it your mantra. You make it, yeah. So it would be there. Good. What do people usually complain about?
Mm. Well, people can complain about everything, to be honest. Um, it's even harder to imagine what is not complained on. Like, for example, people complain about the weather, their services that they receive, the products that they purchase, the attitude of the family members, because there is just so much negativity nowadays that people feel like the grass is always greener on the other side, so that they always have something to talk about, you know?
Yeah, complain about. Yeah, generally the first thing we would say is what don't people complain about would encapsulize some of your other wording that was a little awkward, like when you said it's hard to, or something about it's harder to talk about what people don't complain about.
Mhm.
But yes, how do most people complain? In writing or by other methods?
Mm, people prefer to complain in person or through a phone call because the message might sound a little bit too harsh through message, through writing, written communication. It may come up a bit too harsh, and when people read it, they can read it over and over again, which is not very good for their mental health. Sometimes keep track, uh, people don't want others to keep track of their complaints, so they just do it by chance without like any traces.
Do it by chance?
Uh,
You
they
mean do it anonymously without
uh,
any,
yeah,
I
they
don't
do.
get it by chance, but then you said without any traces.
Yeah, they do it anonymously without chases. Yeah.
That's why I found your answer confusing. There was nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. I just found it surprising that you said in person because all the things that you said would support people doing it in writing. Because honestly, most of the time in writing is less harsh because when you're in person, your emotion can come out. You can sound like you're yelling you know, or if you're writing, you can take the time to word your complaint carefully.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day. I'll see
Oh,
you.
yeah. Okay, good luck. Bye.